We're entering the stretch run for the postseason, and the Phillies are looking to make it back to the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. It's been painstaking, agonizing. It is time to end. Here to talk about all that, the team and their chances, is Locked On Phillies host Connor Thomas. Connor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Kale. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, of course, of course. The run of the postseason is never easy. And of course, lately, the Phillies have run into a little bit of rash of injuries in the bullpen. You have Corey Knebel out for the year. You have Sir Anthony Dominguez with a triceps injury going to the DL. So, man, where are the Phillies going to turn to that bullpen? Are we looking at a chance of a bullpen Eflin coming down the stretch? Is there a chance of Griff McGarry coming up to possibly, be that fireman out of the bullpen? What are you thinking the chances are? And adding some arms to this pen for the stretch run?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we saw Griff McGarry this year, even though he's looked really good down there in the minors. Zach Eflin might be your best chance, honestly, which is wild to say considering he's still dealing with his knee issues. But you're going to need a little bit of depth help. I still think they're one more injury away from being in real trouble. I think you can get enough done with Brad Hand and Jose Alvarado and David Robertson and guys like that. You have enough to scrape by now, but it's certainly not the dominant bullpen that they were a couple weeks ago when all these guys were healthy. So they're on the precipice of being in bullpen trouble. And hopefully Zach Eflin can come back and be one of those guys because he's not going to be in the starting rotation. So that's where I'd keep your eye on if you're looking for some bullpen help coming.
What are the chances that we see Bryce Harper back by the end of the month? And what is the impact that he's going to have when he comes back coming off a thumb injury? When people, when the guys have hand injuries, it really can zap that power. So really, what is the expectation for Harper when he comes back into the lineup?
Well, I saw a couple of videos from his recent batting practice, and he was hitting them into the second decks at Citizens Bank Park. So I think the power will still be there. Now, Gene Segura, who had a similar-ish injury, both broken fingers, both had to have surgery and everything. He spent 8 games down in the minor leagues rehabbing. So you're expecting about a week to a week and a half's worth for Bryce as well, and he hasn't started a rehab stint yet. It'll be tight to get him back by the end of the month, but I think right near the end of the month is the point they're looking for. I'm looking at the road trip they have coming up. It starts with Arizona. He could possibly, I'll say, I'm not going to say probably, but he could possibly be on that road trip. And if not, I'd be surprised if he wasn't ready when they get back.
With Harper's return, it forces Castellanos and Schwarber into the everyday outfield corners. And Schwarber obviously lately has been dealing with a little bit of a hamstring injury. And it's obviously not your first choice to have Castellanos out there every day in right field. So do you think those two are going to be able to hold up down the stretch for the Phillies in this postseason run?
Yeah, Schwarber, well, he had the triple in the series against the Mets. So we're looking like he's healthy-ish now. So that's good. I mean, if he's knocking out a triple, he's about as healthy as that calf gets. So I'm sure he's going to be all right. And Nick Castellanos, for all of his struggles this year at the plate, has been healthy. So I think they'll be around. I wouldn't be worried about injuries for them. As far as how much they can give you defensively, though, they don't have much more on top of what they've already given you this season, which is not a lot. Bryce Harper, the fact that he can't play the field was a bit of a blow because he could have helped out in right. But you're just going to have to hope that Matt Vierling holds down center field enough to cover up for the corners and Brandon Marsh comes back fast enough to give you enough help there to kind of mitigate the defensive liabilities in the corners with Schwarber and Castellanos.
The past few seasons, Aaron Nola has just kind of seemingly run out of gas as the season has come down the stretch. So are we going to see that version of September Nola come back again? Is he going to have struggles coming down to the stretch run here to this 2022 postseason?
Yeah, we're already kind of seeing it. Him and Zach Wheeler both looked rough in their starts against the Mets in this series this past weekend. So, yeah, we're already seeing that decline from those two guys who are your two biggest innings eaters on the team so far. Actually, I think Gibson might still have Wheeler by a couple innings, but still, they're two of your big workhorse guys. And this has been the part of the year that's really rough on both of them in the past. They haven't proven enough to me to say it's not going to happen again. So we're kind of waiting with bated breath to see what we get in the coming month in September as you go down the home stretch. I think they'll be solid, but will they be what we saw when Zach Wheeler was at his best at points this year and Aaron Nola was at his best? I can't say that for sure because of the track record for these guys.
Ultimately, all the moves in the offseason, spend into the luxury tax, it was all about returning to the postseason. So ultimately, that has been the goal all along. And I want to know, do you think the Phillies are going to make it back to that MLB postseason after 10 years? And even do you think they might win a series?
Yeah, I 100% think they are going to be a playoff team. The schedule is significantly easier. You just played your last game against the New York Mets. So here on out, your toughest opponent is whether you want to call it the Houston Astros or the Atlanta Braves. And outside of that, you're playing some of the worst teams in baseball. So the schedule plays your way. Bryce Harper coming back plays your way. And they're already in playoff position. As far as a playoff series, it's going to be tough. If they're one of the lower two wild card teams, they're going to have to go on the road for 3 straight games. It's not an alternating series. It's 3 games on the road, and that could be 3 games in Atlanta against the Braves, 3 games in St. Louis against the Cardinals. I don't know about winning a playoff series under those circumstances with 2 talented teams potentially against them, but they should win a game and at least force game 3 of that series, and then we'll see who they go with in that.
It should be an exciting stretch run to the postseason. And for all your news and updates, you can catch Locked On Phillies anywhere you get your podcasts. Thanks for joining us today, Connor.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man.